Good morning, Max. Max? Milk. What? If I don't have a glass of milk before I go on stage, I just can't function, sweetie. Stage? Don't worry, there won't be a stage. All you have to do is sit down. I guess. Nick, Max is really nervous. That's understandable. Hey, my sweeties! What? You don't think I should fly, do you? Huh? You know, you've got to make a good first impression. When I enter the room, maybe I should fly in and warm up the crowd a little. No. We can't be having you flying around the courtroom. It just wouldn't be right. Imagine if you hit someone. Don't worry, Max. Just do what Nick says and everything will be okay. Oh, sweetie. What is it this time, Max? Why don't you try flying into the courtroom? I can see it now. The dashing young lawyer flying fabulously in from above. One glimpse of that and everyone in the room will be on your side. Max, really, no one needs to fly today. Nick? What's with that look in your eyes? I like the sound of that. Dashing young lawyer flying fabulously. I'd just like to point out, since when we are going to talk with Mo and cross-examine him, as I mentioned before, this is another stage where we... That was pretty fast. Excuse me for a second here, Francisca, I just quickly want to mention something. Since this is another part where we will lose part of our life bar if we press on the wrong thing, and I do want to press on the wrong thing to show you just how bad his jokes can be, I have a code that is supposed to give me infinite life bar, so that, you know, I don't actually lose anything. Let's hope it works. Oh, sorry, I just realized that the defendant's name is Billy Bob Jones. So... well, isn't the defendant also known as Maximilian Galactica? Yes, Your Honor, he does often go by that name. You know, my grandchild is a huge fan of his. I think everyone here wouldn't mind if we called the defendant Maximilian Galactica. It sounds more... friendly. I wonder if that is to our advantage? Miss Van Kalma, your opening statement, if you please. I hope you didn't bother thinking you'd win this one, Mr. Phoenix, right? Huh? That spirit channeling trial was a sham. I refuse to acknowledge its legitimacy. It did not count. Do you hear me? She must still be upset about what happened last time. You have no chance. Zero, zilch, nada. I'm not losing this case. Why, you ask? Because it's not in the nature of Van Kalma to lose at anything. I guess being born with the name Van Kalma is a free pass to be arrogant and annoying. I think everybody is born with that free pass. Just most people don't use it. I'll show you the textbook procedure for proving how absolutely guilty you are. Me? Guilty? What are you talking about? It will be my ultimate revenge. Her dad is gone, you know. The prosecution is finished. Let's hurry and wrap up this waste of time. You may call your first witness, Miss Van Kalma. Detective Dick Gumshoe, get up there now! Sorry to keep you from work, as I'm sure you need every penny you earn, Detective. Don't mention it. It's no trouble at all. I've been looking forward to this. Very well. I would like you to begin by shedding light on the events in question. At your service, sir. All right, Detective. You may proceed with your testimony. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 p.m., making it extremely cold out. All of the circus performers gathered in the big top to practice their routines. The practice session broke up at around 10 p.m. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 p.m. The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. It didn't destroy the occipital?
I see, he was beaten to death.
Here's the autopsy report for the victim.
The court accepts this as evidence. A blunt object?
If you remember the CSI episode where Doc Robbins sang about blunt force trauma to the back of the skull, I'm pretty much imagining that right now, reading the cause of death here.
Very well. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. My throat is really starting to act up again. Oh man. Let me ask you about the snow. It was nearly a blizzard up until the time of the crime. Did it pile up? It wasn't such a big deal, maybe about 1.5 inches off the ground. The snow froze in place and stayed on the ground till the next day. The snow... Let me see, there's got to be more to this. What's the matter, Nick? I need to take a look at the court record.
Mr. Gumshoe, what were the members of the circus doing on the night of the crime?
You said I have to take a look at the... snow? At the court record? I mean, there was snow. Otherwise, nothing really. When you say all of the circus performers, who do you mean? Everyone but the dancers and staff were there. Regina the animal tamer, Mo the clown, Ben the ventriloquist, and of course the defendant Maximilian Galactica and his victim, the ringmaster. Oh, I almost forgot. Regent the tiger was there as well. Out of curiosity, what about the circus monkey? When I was investigating yesterday, he happened to snatch my wristwatch.
Detective, you're welcome to file a police report after these proceedings.
Look, pal. If Phoenix didn't file a police report after Von Karma tasered him in the last game, you can bet Gumshoe is not going to file a report for a monkey stealing his wristwatch. After the practice was over, where did everyone head off to? Regina was playing with Regent, while Mo went back to his room tired from work. Then the ventriloquist went to the front gate absorbed in his own world. The ringmaster and Max went off to the ringmaster's room to talk privately.
Talk privately, huh? That's awfully suspicious. You wouldn't happen to know what they were talking about, would you?
Actually, Max was asking for Regina's hand in marriage. I'd like you to be a bit more specific about the events at 10:15 p.m. Okay, not a problem, pal. We've got a witness that told us how the whole thing went down! This is totally meaningless. Time to move on.
Alright, we'll just have to revisit this testimony later. Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling us how the victim met his end?
A wooden box? That's right. The victim must have been carrying the wooden box when he was killed.
Carrying the box, huh?
It was a rather strange wooden box, Your Honor.
What do you mean?
Well, it was much heavier than it looked. Not to mention it was locked.
Locked, did you say?
This wooden box, you figure it weighs about 20 pounds, right? Sounds about right. The whole thing's lined with iron. Iron plating? Why do you think it's lined with iron? I figured they just did it to make the box heavier. I think we could all do without your guesses, Detective. Stick to what little you actually know. Sorry.
Suffice it to say, the box is really heavy.
Much better. You may continue on, Detective.
And we return to the part where we can ask some questions about the box. Do you mind telling us what was inside that box? Well, when we found the box, it was locked tighter than Fort Knox. So we took it back to the station and cracked it open. All that was inside was this little bottle. Bottle? What is that, Detective? Exactly what it looks like, Your Honor. It's a condiment bottle. What's inside the bottle? It's filled with pepper. Pepper? Why in the world was it locked in that big box? There was only one little bottle in that huge box?
I wonder if that has some sort of special meaning.
According to the autopsy report, the murder weapon was a blunt object, correct? You've done your homework, pal.
And you haven't found this murder weapon, have you? The police are searching for it as we speak.
My theory is that it is something the perpetrator ran off with. You would think so, especially since you didn't find it on the scene. No, I bet he made it disappear with magic. Well, I think we have a good feeling for the details of the event now.
Feel? I do have to point this out. Anybody who uses the term feel as a noun is fucking wrong. The noun? Okay, to feel is a verb. You know what the fucking noun for feel is? Feeling! The feeling. Das Gefühl. If I feel something for a video game character, it is to feel. It is a verb. I do not get the feels from something, and that is actually correct as a noun. It is not correct. It sounds fucking stupid. The right term is, this game gave me a big feeling, or it really made me feel for something. One is the noun, the other is the verb. Don't ever write in my comments or tell me that you had the feels for something. 'Cause you are so low on my list then. I'm probably gonna choose to not put your comment up. 'Cause I currently have it set that I only allow comments to appear on my videos if I allow them. You can't just post shit there. I guess that's all we're gonna get out of Gumshoe in this case. You mean all we're gonna get out of him is that little box of pepper? Now that we have wrapped up with the detective, I'd like to call my next witness.
I'm not even off the stand yet.
Obviously, but that's due to you being slow and unable to take a hint.
I don't know, but wrapped up has such a mean sound to it. I'm a sensitive guy. Thank you very much, Detective Gumshoe. You may step down. Miss Von Kalm will call your next witness.
I would like to call Mr. Benjamin Woodman to the stand.
She must be talking about Ben the ventriloquist.
I wonder if Trillo will show up on the stand as well. Please state your name and occupation for the record. My full name is Trilloquist. I'm employed as an opera tenor.
Excuse me? The witness called to the stand was one Mr. Benjamin Woodman ventriloquist.
That rope must be cutting off your circulation. I said that I was a singer. Maybe you don't believe me. Fine, I'll grace you with a song. Ahem. Me.
The Great British Court does that, not the Japanese one.
It had a good rhythm.
It's just the lyrics. They leave something to be desired, so to speak.
Trillo, you know better than to insult a judge.
Shut up, just look at your nose. You would think you'd have the sense to fix it. So ugly I want to punch you in the face on the off chance swelling it through.
I really lost it there on that side.
You know that your nose is the reason you'll never be an A-list star.
Celebrities must really enjoy saying everything that flashes into their minds.
What's going on here? Order! I demand to know who the witness is!
Don't worry about me, sir. I'll let Trillo handle this.
I'm not worried about you one bit. I'm worried about getting testimonies on court.
You won't get anywhere trying to figure out this witness. Now let's proceed.
Once practice was over, I left the tent with Stooge. I mean Clown. Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went over to the plaza. That's when I saw Max headed towards the scene of the crime. He was the only one heading that way. How could that pug not be the killer? Then the police showed up and took Magic Boy away.
You saw Maximilian Galactica heading towards the scene? You're sure of that?
Without a doubt, he had on the silk hat, cloak, and some white roses on his chest. Who can he mistake someone with that crazy get-up and his nose stuck so high?
That's enough. I think we all get the picture. Just one thing. You said you ditched the clown.
That's right, dress boy.
Since you weren't with him, could that mean the clown committed the crime?
He's got a point. What a shame. It was a nice theory, but the clown can't be the criminal.
Where's that?
Here's absolute proof.
A silk hat?
This was found at the scene of the crime. It belongs to the defendant.
Oh.
Without question, he was wearing his signature hat during practice. If the clown was the murderer, there would be no reason for this hat to be at the scene. If Mo was dressed up as Max, he could totally have left the hat behind, so... moot point.
Well done, Miss Von Karma. Your prosecutorial skills are unrivaled. Well done.
Thank you for stating the obvious. Mr. Phoenix Wright, what do you have to say?
Okay. I guess she's the boss again today. The clown, you're talking about Mo?
Of course I'm talking about that old fart. He's so pathetic I can't stand him. Just a little bit of exercise and his makeup's running all over the place. Once practice was over, he was 9/10 of the way to keeling over for good.
Poor guy.
We didn't have any choice, so Ben took him back to his room. When it comes to being a first place loser, that guy's ahead of the pack.
Then what happened? What did you do then?
I went over to the plaza to do some thinking.
It was awfully cold out that night, especially with all the snow around. Wouldn't thinking in your nice warm lodging house have been a better idea?
Mr. Phoenix Wright, I think you should leave the thinking to the witness. But I'm a good thunker!
At least my teachers always said I was. Are you sure it was really Max Galactica?
Of course I'm sure. How could you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece getup?
Snobby three-piece getup?
Get the wax out of your ears. Lawyers nowadays, you're like talking to a brick wall. Max's three-piece getup. Could you be any more dense? All together now.
Silk hat, cloak, white roses.
Thank you.
Nick, I think you should put a little bit more effort into preparing your questions. I will drag you out of the courtroom by your stupid top knot.
You saw Max and only Max, right, Trillo?
That's right, and that makes him the killer. There was only one person heading that way tonight.
That makes quite a bit of sense. Makes Max one suspicious character.
There's more to the story than meets the eye. Is there something amiss in this?
That's a bit strange, don't you think?
What's that?
That you only saw Max. Doesn't it seem like you should have seen someone else as well? What? Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? who else do you suppose this witness could have seen? That's the victim.
That's correct. If Trillo was at the entrance to the plaza, he should have seen the ringmaster as well. Oh! Obviously the ringmaster arrived at the scene of the crime before the witness. Could have seen him. Anyone with sense could have figured that one out. What are you talking about? The ringmaster and Max went together to the ringmaster's room. Considering one is the defendant saying this and the other person is dead is kind of hard to believe. Is that, according to the defendant, a likely story? If Maximilian Galactica was supposed to be in the ringmaster's room, why was he, just as the witness stated, at the scene of the crime?
I see. It seems that at this stage I have no reason to doubt this witness's testimony. And there are clearly no conclusive contradictions.
He's right. A brilliant judgment, Your Honor. Now let's move along with the testimony. Trillo wouldn't happen to have an ulterior motive for incriminating Max, would he?
Well, Max is part of that bitter love triangle with Regina. Which is probably why Max conked him over the head.
Nick, wasn't Ben the one who got knocked over the head?
Yeah. I think so. I don't know anymore.
Oh, I thought I could ask the other question. Jeez. I forget where I have to point something out. Yeah, that was the wrong one. I wanted to press on the next one. That part. Around what time did the police arrive at the scene?
I suppose I would have been around... Hey, what time was it?
I think it was around... I'd say a bit after 10:30 p.m., I think. Practice ended at 10 p.m., so you hung around the lodging house the entire time? I guess that sounds about right. Wasn't it awfully cold? I can't believe you just stand outside in that weather. Well, the truth is...
Why you shut up, you big nose dope? Why are you telling me anything extra? Why can't you believe that we just stand outside the weather?
Well, maybe you were waiting for someone.
What? Who said we were waiting for someone?
Mr. Phoenix right. We can all do without your offhanded theories. But this witness, he's cracking under the pressure already. I'm on to something.
Mr. Wright, who do you suppose the witness was waiting for out in the cold that night?
Well, if it was waiting outside in the cold, it was for one person. And one person only. He was waiting for the animal tamer, Regina. You were waiting outside for Regina to come back to the lodging house. Am I mistaken?
Is this true?
Well, you can't really ask me that question.
Who cares who I was waiting for that night? What's important is what I saw, don't you forget it?
Well, the puppet may be a bit stiff, but he's right.
Alright. There's obviously a reason why this witness was there that night. He spent all that time waiting for Regina to arrive. Moreover, even if someone else would have walked right in front of him, I doubt he would have paid them a second thought.
Oh!
That makes perfect sense.
What did you just say? The witness saw the defendant at the scene of the crime. However, he did not see the victim on the way to his eventual demise. If you accept that, then you must accept that there is a high likelihood that he could have missed someone else other than Max heading— Ow! There is absolutely no proof that the witness was waiting for the animal tamer.
I guess you got me. Alright, I'll spill the beans for real this time. It's true, I was waiting for Regina.
Pain!
Don't volunteer things.
Mr. Quist, tell us the truth this time, and I mean the whole truth. Were you or were you not waiting for Regina at the entrance to the lodging house?
I was waiting to propose to her.
You were what? Waiting to propose?
What's the matter? You think humans have a monopoly of marriage?
The matter of puppet marriage is not under review in this case.
You're the judge. We look at your horrible outfit.
More pain!
Thanks to your bumming, my perfect plan is not so perfect anymore. Now we have to waste time getting to the bottom of some silly proposal by a puppet.
Don't be so surprised I was going to propose to Regina. I even had something to give to her. I kept it in my pocket waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket.
You were going to propose. You, a puppet.
Don't be so obtuse. Just because I'm a puppet doesn't mean I can't love.
I guess you're right. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I couldn't propose to her too.
Exactly.
His honor is looking a little less than honorable right now.
Okay, Mr. Wright. Please continue with the examination.
Did you hear that? His sigh seemed a little wistful.
What was it exactly that you planned on giving her?
You know exactly what I was going to give her, numbskull. The only thing I could find that could match Regina's beauty.
Answer his question. What was it?
You're gonna die when you hear it. It's an engagement ring.
An engagement ring?
Wow, those two nearly fell out of their chairs. Mr. Phoenix Wright joke has gone too far. Time for this to end right here. Francisco's whip look, it's about to lash out at almost anything. One hit from that thing will probably shut someone up for a long time. Pain equals bad. Man up, man! It may be something of a joke, but this is a historic moment. The first time that a puppet has ever proposed to you. Ow! I advise you to cut this argument short.
I'm going to have to agree with the defense here. Will the witness please revise their testimony? Specifically about the engagement ring, I'd like to stick to facts, not sociology.
You sure do enjoy sweating the details, especially for a man in a black bathrobe.
An engagement ring?
It's actually a diamond-shaped stone cut from glass. Even more brilliant than the real thing. I think Regina's going to love it.
It's just a ring.
What's the matter, Nick?
Well, there's got to be something I could catch him on. Trillo, do you mind if I show you something? What is it?
What are you talking about?
Uh-oh. Looks like they're going to double team me now. Threesome. Wait, one's a puppet. Ew. Do you recognize this ring?
That's mine! Give it back, thief!
Didn't you just testify about this very object? I believe you said, in the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. Why then do I have it right here?
What is going on here?
That's... Ben, say something!
Don't put me on the spot like that, Trillo. I found this in Monty's room.
Monty's room? You mean a room they put money like a bank vault?
That filthy monkey's gonna get what's coming to him.
Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you avoided slandering innocent fights in my court. Well, Your Honor, money really is a monkey, in every sense of the word. Oh, I see. Well then. Money likes to go after the shiniest things that he can find and gather them up. Shiny things?
Trillo, when was this ring stolen from you?
Well, I suppose it was that time, you know, the night of the crime.
What did you just say? Details? I need more details.
Well, it was stolen right after Max showed up in the plaza. Right about when you saw the defendant walk past, correct? Well, I guess you might be able to say that. The ring could have been taken around that time.
Ben, what's with you? Oh, whatever. It has nothing to do with anything, especially not who committed the murder.
It's not for you to decide what has to do with that. Now, Trillo, back to the topic at hand.
I haven't admitted a thing. Not I, Mr. Trillo Quist.
What did you do when the ring was taken, Trillo?
You know exactly what I did. I chased out that ring-snatching monkey money.
But you weren't able to catch up with him, were you?
It's all the slow, low fool called Ben's fault. While he was fumbling his way through the snow, that dumb monkey was able to get away.
That is indeed an incredible shame. Well, this does indeed prove one very important fact.
Prove an important point? What point could that possibly be?
There is a huge contradiction in this witness's testimony.
Contradiction?
The witness just testified to the following effect. Up until the police arrived, he didn't move from the entrance to the plaza. However, the witness just stated that he chased after Money the monkey. When the witness was off chasing Money, there was no one watching the plaza.
What is the meaning of all this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Where are you going with this little theory of yours?
You're perfect, you should know what he wants, or what he's thinking. I'm saying that there is no possible way that this witness saw the plaza the entire time. That's where I'm going with this little theory, which leads me to my next point. It is entirely possible that someone other than the defendant was at the scene. Interesting, Mr.
Well then tell me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Do you have any proof that something slipped past this vigilant ventriloquist?
Well, he obviously didn't see the victim, the ringmaster, arrive on the scene.
However, that doesn't change the fact that he saw the defendant arrive.
The witness is lying. He's blinded by his rivalry with Max. Well, the defense's argument does hold water. This witness does have a theory of animosity towards the defendant.
What? How dare you? I wouldn't lie just to get that dork face in trouble. It's not even worth it. I saw him, no doubt about it. I saw the worthless liar.
Well, just for clarity's sake, let's flush exactly who you saw on that night.
I've told you so many times, you think you'd know my story's not changing.
You've already changed your story, stick boy. I'm sure it'll change some more.
Where there's one line, there are usually many more behind it.
Exactly, Maya. That's why we have to keep after him.
Yeah!
I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina, but that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. He showed up after I had been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactic at the scene. There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols.
So that means that Money didn't show up until after you saw Max?
That's right. Money ran up less than a minute after I saw Max.
Then Money snatched the ring and you went chasing after him? How long was it until you came back to where you were waiting?
Well, let's see. I'd say about...
I suppose 5 minutes, I think.
So the victim could have arrived at the scene in that 5-minute stretch.
Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. So you saw Max coming out of the big top that night?
Of course that's where I saw him coming from. I was staring at the entrance of the tent the entire time.
I guess that makes sense, especially since it was waiting for Regina. About what time would you say these events took place?
You're one of the dumbest people on the planet if you can't figure it out yourself. You already know the practice finished promptly at 10 p.m. And you already know that I went to the lodging house right after practice. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to know around what time it was when I saw him. Just add 10 more minutes, I'm sure you can do it. Now what time was it?
Indeed, what time was it?
What time was it? Let me think about that for a second.
I'm no good at numbers.
It was 10:10 p.m.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right because that's the time that I saw Max on the scene.
So you testified that you said good evening to Max that night.
You must enjoy asking incredibly obvious questions. You say good morning in the morning, good afternoon during the day, right? And it's obvious that I'd say good night to someone at night. What, Ben? You've got something to add? Let me guess. That's not it, Trillo. You say good evening at night.
I'm sorry, Trillo. Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you kept your ventriloquist act outside of the courtroom.
Impossible. Performer lives and breathes his performances. You should know better.
There's got to be something wrong with this bit of testimony. Isn't that a bit strange to you?
What do you mean?
Well, if you hate Max so much, why would you bother being nice to him? It strikes me as somewhat strange.
Why would it strike you strange?
Exactly. How's it strange to be cordial to one of your co-workers?
Well, if it was simply just being cordial to a co-worker, I would understand.
Ow! That hurt!
Maybe you should think of having some proof before your lips start flapping next time. Proof is everything in this world. You should have learned that back in grade school.
There's no reason that Turtle would have said something nice to Max. But how do I go about proving that with the evidence?
Bluffing is everything in this world. But I'm sure you already learned that one.
I guess I can give it a shot. Trillo, is it not true that you had a fight with Max on the day of the murder?
A fight?
A fight over Regina, to be exact.
It wasn't that big of a deal. Just an argument. Disagreement at most.
A disagreement usually doesn't end with someone getting clonked over the head. That morning, Ben got clobbered over the head by Max, didn't he? What? Is that an invention of an assault battery?
That thing doesn't exist in this world, Judge. Don't be silly. Before we handle that, we should wrap up the defendant's murder charge first.
The truth is that on the day of the crime, the defendant and witness had a huge fight. There was absolutely no way they would have suddenly become cordial that evening. Even if I hate a co-worker, I'd still be cordial even if I had a fight with them. It's called common courtesy. Moreover, just consider the personality of the witness on the stand. There is no way a puppet this lewd would just up and say good evening to his rival.
Are you saying this witness is lying? That is trying to frame the defendant by claiming to have seen him at the crime scene?
I didn't tell a single lie, honestly. I just...
That's enough from you, Mr. Quist. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? Let's clarify this testimony for the court. Could you explain your theory about who the witness actually saw that night? It is my belief that the witness did indeed someone see that night. What? Oh man, it's almost 1 AM and I'm really starting to lose it. It was just someone else. That's who we said good evening to.
What kind of theory is that?
The correct one. Furthermore, I don't believe the person the witness saw was Max at all.
What?
If he had truly met Max that night, there would have been no greeting at all. Which means there is only one proper answer.
The person the witness saw that night was not Maximilian Galactica. That is why Turlo made the effort to greet whoever it was that he saw that evening. Or good evening, as he put it. What in the world?
Would the defense kindly explain who it was Turlo saw that evening, then?
Considering the ill temper of this witness, there is only one person he would greet.
It must be Regina. It's Regina, right? She's so cute.
No, Your Honor, it is not Regina. If it was Regina, Turlo would have given her the engagement ring as a present.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you've got a point there.
It was Russell Berry, the victim himself, was it not? You are correct. It was indeed Russell Berry. The person you saw that evening was the victim, the ringmaster Russell Berry. That's why you greeted him, Turlo, correct?
Gulp.
Answer the question, Mr. Quest.
Order! Order! How do you respond to this?
Wait a second. Well, at first I thought it was the old man. But once I got a better look at him, it was obviously Maximilian Galactica.
Please stop talking. I want to go to bed.
I think it is high time that we clear the air about this question. Mr. Quest obviously witnessed a single person in the area of the plaza that evening. The problem is identifying exactly who that person was. Was it Maximilian Galactica? Or was it the ringmaster, one Mr. Russell Berry?
The prosecution argues that it was the defendant that the witness saw that night. The witness has clearly stated that he saw the defendant's 3 symbols. 3 symbols?
Alright, this is getting old. Come on, man. You've got to remember them by now. Here we go again, everyone. All together now. Ow!
Yes, yes, we know. The silk hat, cloak, and white roses. A silk hat and a cloak. Anyone could wear them. It even looked good on me. I don't know, Phoenix. I don't think that light magenta purple thing is really for you. Blue really fits you, but I don't know, maybe go a bit darker. It would definitely make you look slimmer. What was that? Well, the witness has endlessly repeated that he saw Max's 3 symbols. But how do we really know it was Maximilian Galactica? It is wonderful that in this case, the people are actually getting intelligent enough to realize that just because somebody is wearing things that look like what a certain person wears a lot, does not automatically mean that it is that person. It is so nice to hear this. It could have been someone else, dressed up as him. Possibly even Russell Berry. What?
Miss Mancalma, do you have clear evidence that the person the witness saw was the defendant?
Well,
If that's the case, then it is impossible for me to make a judgment at this point.
Yes, I think we finally won a point in this one. That is very unfortunate.
Huh?
You're just a little too excited for your own good, Mr. Phoenix, right?
What do you mean by that?
You merely established one thing from this witness. You established that this witness saw one person in the plaza that night. I applaud you on your effort, but...
But?
Who that person was can only be answered by the next witness.
Huh?
Your Honor, the prosecution will provide, beyond a shadow of doubt, an answer to that question and evidence that clearly establishes one thing. That there is no one other than Maximilian Galactica responsible for this crime.
Very well. The court will take a 10-minute recess. During that time, I request the prosecution prepare the next witness. Court is now in recess.
Oh, thank God. I'm so glad I got a break before I talk to Mo.